Hi there guys, so it's been a little bit of time since I did a garden video, so I thought I'd give you an update as to how our jungle garden's going. We've had a lot of humid weather lately. It's warm during the day, humid in the evenings. We have some downpours in the evenings, rainy season's on its way. So the garden's really thriving. We've got lots of new growth, so let's go and check it out. So here we had our red Congo, which had an accident. Something fell on it and snapped it, unfortunately, but I just left it in the ground, and as it had a really well-established kind of root system already, I think it's going to grow back quite quickly. So this leaf was the first one that came out. You see it's got a little bit burnt. This area gets a little bit of sun at this time of year. So this is the first year we've been here. We've been in the house a year actually this week, and I'm beginning to realize that during the summer the sun is stronger here than on the other side of the house, but then towards rainy season and towards the kind of cooler season, the sun is strong on the other side of the house as it's higher in the air. So this is suffering a little bit now, but come another few months it should get a little less sun here. So it has been hot here, which is why these leaves are a little burnt. However, we do have new growth. So we've got this that came out, and I believe it's going to upsize quite quickly, I think, to the size it was before it had its accident. And the nice thing is we have other growth coming out of here. So we've got a few other shoots, and then this was the only piece that survived the accident. It snapped off, so I planted it as a cutting, and that also has new growth coming out now also. And then here we've got a rubber tree, which I hope will grow enough here to provide shade eventually for the plants that are here. So that's what we've got going on here. So moving over here, we have our black cardinal, which is now beginning to upsize quite nicely. We've still got kind of struggling, unhealthy looking Prince of Orange. It's never been healthy since we got it. It was inside, we moved it outside. Just not really sure why it's not happy. As you can see, the other philodendrons either side of it are doing fine. You know, the black cardinal's very happy here, so I'm not really sure what is wrong with this, whether it's diseased or what, but our Prince of Orange is just not thriving, it seems. Lots of new bamboo growth, though. See, we've got these shoots coming out. So these provide shade for the side of the house, and also provide a screen eventually when we have a neighbor there. So they're getting taller, and we've got these new shoots coming out, so that's nice. So over here we've got some cuttings. So this is a cutting from our Cistaris mirabilis, and it's been here for a while, but it's starting to finally show some signs of growth. We've got this shoot here. This is a melanochrysum, and that shoot has been like that for a while. I think that the energy of the plant is probably going into establishing the roots before anything else. And then this other melanochrysum has some growth to it. So hopefully we'll get a few plants out of that. I just planted this a few days ago. It wasn't doing well where it was. That's why it's not looking very healthy, but I'm hoping it'll recover here. And our philodendron Olympiad has some new growth finally as well. So this Olympiad was very big when we first got it, but it basically died, and we cut it into 3 pieces, and this is now what we've got coming from it. We were new to the philodendrons at the time. It got just way too much sun where it was on our balcony at the back of the house, where it looked really nice, but you know, the plants don't always cooperate. Where they look nice is not always where they're going to be happy growing. Okay, so our living wall here, we've still got some empty spots because I'm waiting for things to really grow and fill them. But we've got things like our red Anderson here, which are doing quite well. We have Jose Bueno here, which is growing nice and compact, not too leggy. I sometimes find some of the philodendrons on the wall, they grow very leggy because they're trying to reach out and get some sun. But this Jose Bueno is really doing quite fine here. Next to that here, then we've got our Queen Anthurium. It used to be higher up on the wall, but it was starting to suffer a little bit with some crispy leaves. It was getting a little bit too much sun, so I've moved it down here, and the latest leaf is quite happy, although it's coming out with this curved shape. Not really sure why. So we had a Monstera deliciosa in this, which got root rot, and I saved it, and now it's finally got a new growth just come out. So we'll see how that grows here. We got lots of mint here, which is growing nicely like a weed, but we use that in our cooking. So we do have some herbs on here. We've also got some variegated oregano in places on this wall. So here is our philodendron atabapensi. Looks very similar to a Spiritus Sancti, but it is not. Our Spiritus Sancti is not this big yet, unfortunately. Something been laying eggs in there, I think. It's a spider. Okay, so this is our atabapensi, and that went through a little tough period. As you can see, it was growing leggy and small leaves, but I'm hoping that this one is going to be a little bit bigger as we've had some more sunlight on this side of the house, like I say, recently. So we'll see how that goes. So what else have we got here that's doing okay? This is starting to climb up the wall now, finally. So this was a cutting that we had from upstairs. I think it's a marble pothos. So that's doing fine. We've got syngonium up here. And this forgetii, the Anthurium forgetii, is not making new leaves lately. So we'll just leave that. We'll see how that one goes. What else have we got here that's doing quite well? So we need to put a stick on this. So this was a cutting that we had. This is a philodendron fiddle leaf lime, I think it's called. So it's starting to grow now. We need to put a stick so it has something to climb. These other Anthuriums here are doing quite nice. They seem to don't mind the climate here on this side of the house. And they have been getting a little bit of sun lately. You see a few of the plants have got a little scorched because it has been sunny, like I say, on this side of the house lately. So I also moved as well. We had a Vichii, which was higher up, and I've just moved that down too, because the leaves also on this were getting a little scorched on the edges. So the Vichii has been moved down here to a shadier place. Our Melanochrysum here is starting to bounce back. We've got some wild ferns that have just sprouted out here. What else do we have interesting on here? This is one of my favorite begonias. It used to have more of a purple color to it, to the leaves, but it seems to have lost some of it. Maybe a little lack of sunlight, I'm not sure. But I very much like this begonia. Okay, so let's move around to the other side of the house. We took some cuttings from the back yesterday, which I planted here. So we'll see how they go. There's another one here. So these are two cuttings that we took. This fern is really sprouting up, doing splendid here. There's an Anthurium green tobacco, which has not made a new leaf in quite a while. I don't know what's going on with that. I cleared some ferns out the way to make sure it's getting enough sun. But we have lots of ferns growing in this area around the bottom of our lemon and lime rubber tree, which is really doing great. That rubber tree's really sprung up. It's been, I think, planted now probably 9 months, and it's really grown a lot. If you go back on some of our older videos, you'll see how it used to be. We've got a Monstera Peru here, which seems to be doing quite well. Very healthy looking leaves. Our variegated banana, we've had a few babies that this has made. There's another one coming out here which I planted around the place, so we'll see how they go. And we got another type of monstera. I just got this cutting the other day, planted it down here. Not sure if it's going to get quite enough sun there. I believe that these monsteras can handle a little bit more sun. Our Florida Beauty has really upsized. You see the latest leaf is very big compared to the ones that we had when we first got it. So the latest leaves quite large on our Florida Beauty. It seems to be doing quite happy here, climbing up this pole. Our Biate has not got any new growth since we had the root rot problem. But the leaves haven't died and fallen off yet. But there's no new growth coming out, which is a little bit... no, there is now. I haven't looked at this for a while, but there it is. It's just surprised me. We have new growth on this Biate. I thought that it was done for, but it's actually grown from its original growth point. I did not expect that. I thought it would die back and grow kind of a new baby plant and we would start from small again, but it's actually made a whole new leaf from its original growth point, which is fantastic. I thought that this was really gonna go back to being a baby. That's fantastic. Very, very happy with that. So it shows I haven't been out in the garden much lately. Been a little busy with work, so I hadn't noticed that, and it was kind of hidden away behind there, behind the ferns. But that is really good news. Very, very happy about that. So our Biate will keep on growing. The Glorious doing really well. This is our latest Anthurium regale leaf. So when this came out, they're really delicate, and it was touching a fern there, so I had to trim some of that just to make some space for it. But this is a really nicely sized leaf. Behind there we have our rabbit-foot fern, which is one of my favorites. It's growing really nice on the wall here. It fills the spaces really nicely. So this is not the rabbit-foot fern, this is the rabbit-foot fern here. And it's kind of self-propagating. We've got it growing up the wall there in places. So it's doing really, really well. Our Vichii is getting a little bit sunburnt there also now. I need to plant some other things around it to provide a little bit more shade, I think, for it. And you'll see here, though, our latest Pariso Verde leaf that's just come out is large. It had been making smaller ones for quite a while, and then suddenly now it's just put out this large leaf. So very happy about that as well. Also as well, this is our other Olympiad. So this is the largest cutting that we saved, the smaller one around the corner that I showed you earlier. So this Olympiad is also growing quite nicely now. I may have to trim this a little bit. It's getting a little bit in the way, but this makes really nice purple flowers. Look at those. Adds a little bit of color to the garden with all this green. So we've got lots of stuff growing up the wall there. I've got lots of pothos just to give that wall some color. And then over there you'll see we have some Vanda orchids that have just flowered, and I think the other Vanda orchids behind it are going to flower soon, but they're really nice. I'd like to get some more orchids to fill up that back wall there because they look really, really cool. So here's our whole living wall here at the back on our patio. So it's really nice to sit out here, especially in the evenings when there's no bugs around. It's a really nice place to sit. Okay, so moving on over here is our Spiritus Sancti. Newest leaf coming out. So they are starting to get a little bit bigger. We've got aerial roots. It seems quite healthy to me. I'm quite happy with how it's doing. So those of you who've been following the channel since the start will know that when I got this, it just had a few little baby leaves like these. So I think this is maybe the 4th or 5th leaf since I got it that's coming out. So we'll see how this comes out when it comes out a little larger than this last one. So we're starting to get a little bit of the bunny ears shape to the Spiritus Sancti there, but not 100% looking like a Spiritus yet. So that's doing really well. Our Philodendron gigantum is living up to its name and has got really, really big. Then we've got these up here. So this is to provide shade to the stuff below, and I really like the leaves on them. We do get a little bit of wind that tends to ruin them a little bit, but they're really nice. So this is a Calathea lutrea. I've got quite a few of this planted around the house because they really do provide a nice canopy. See, we've got more over there. Nice looking leaves, although they do get a little beaten up by the winds that we have here, but they provide a nice canopy, a nice bit of shade for the plants below. This is another rubber tree. So these lemon and lime rubber trees really grow really well in this garden. For some reason, I'm not really sure. The other types of rubber trees we've got, not so much. But this one, we only planted about 3 months ago. And you can see the new growth with the change in the leaf color. So these were the leaves on it when we got it. And that was the branch there. And you can see it's just really grown very quickly in just a few months. This stem has come out, and this one. So this is going to get eventually like that other rubber tree that we have over there, and should fill this area nicely and provide a lot of shade for the plants down below. I need to take a cutting from this. This is our Black Majesty back there. So once that newest leaf opens up, I'm going to get a cutting from that. Maybe I'll put it on our living wall. So this fern has just suddenly also grown up. So when we bought it, it was in a pot, and it was kind of restricted in size. So the ferns were still large, but smaller, substantially smaller than this one that's just come out now is just really huge. So this is not a fern tree. This is our fern tree over there. So that will grow, you know, a woody stem, and has the fronds hanging out from above. This will stay low to the ground and will just grow like this. But I really love the ferns, and the ferns really seem to love our garden. These have just self-propagated, wild, growing ferns from, I guess because I have a lot of ferns planted here, they've been just self-propagating themselves. So this is our other rubber tree, which, similar to the other one on the other side there, they just really slow growers compared to the lemon and lime. So you can see here the amount of growth that we've had since we got it from the brown to the green there. So only maybe 10 inches or so of growth compared to probably 50 inches of growth on the lemon and lime. So I'm not really sure why this one just grows at a slower rate. I guess maybe it has less chlorophyll. It's doesn't process the energy quite as well. I'm not really sure why, but anyway, that's our experience so far with the rubber trees. So I took some cuttings from this the other day, this philodendron, because it had grown to the top of its pole. I've already extended that pole once. I didn't want to do it again. It was getting a little unstable. So I took some cuttings from the top of that. And we've got our heliconias, which are now flowering at the back there, which are really nice. And then we've got down here our philodendron glorious. And trying to strive to survive down there, we have a pastazanium. It's not getting quite enough light, so I think it's struggling a little bit, growing kind of leggy. The new leaves don't come out looking too healthy, so I'm hoping that once it gets a little higher up and it gets above that kind of canopy a little bit, it will it'll pick up. So over here then we have some more of the Calathea lutreas, which have not upsized like the other ones have yet. And then we have our Black Violet, which is doing well here. We have new growth as well on our orchids. So over here then we have these white Christmas caladiums, which just sprung up in the new growing season. So they were here, and I cut them all back at the end of last season because the leaves were already kind of old and damaged. And then I guess the bulbs underground and new growing season, they just sprung up with really quite large leaves and just filled this area. So this was a nice surprise when all of these sprung up, although they are now providing a lot of shade to the plant below there. So we've got some more plants behind there that aren't quite getting enough sun now. But I think the same thing's going to happen. Probably end of this growing season. Maybe these will get cut back once these leaves are done. So our ladyfingers palm here is, the Rhaphis palm is growing quite nicely. So this came with the mother plant, kind of. This is a baby that's come out from it, and it's nice because it's providing shade here underneath for our green dragon. This is a philodendron green dragon we've got growing under here, and this Rhaphis is just providing it a little bit of shade, so it doesn't get too bright a sun, which is really nice. And that was kind of the idea of planting these Rhaphis here anyway, was to give them that shade. So going around the side here, so this area at different time of the year gets a lot more sun. So it hasn't been getting as much sun in the past few months as it does earlier in the year. But that's not to say it hasn't been growing well. So we have a cutting here which I took off the wall of a gloriosum, and that has made a new leaf, and it has another one just coming out. So this gloriosum is doing quite well. You can see behind that gloriosum there, this is our cutting, or the baby that I did through root division from the variegated banana. And at the back there, we've got some more gloriosum. Over here, we have our El Choco Red, which is just, I say this in every video, a super slow grower. I just don't know why. I've got one on the wall on the other side. It gets more sun over there than this one. I thought maybe this one just wasn't getting enough light, but it's just really, really slow. Don't know why, but that's just how it is. But I love it. I love the coloration to the rear of the leaves. That coloration on the back of the leaves there is just so nice. And yeah, I just really, really love these El Choco Reds, but they are just really slow. I just wish it would grow a little quicker so that I can see it instead of having to find it behind here. On saying that, our other plants that are growing here are doing quite well. So our Ploumanii, this is the latest leaf. As you can see, quite large. It's coming out quite nice. And then over here we have our Soderoy Af, which is also now producing quite large leaves. And we have a new leaf just coming out on it here. We'll take some of these away just to give that new leaf some space. It's the thing with these leaves that are growing around it. They can provide shade, but they can also damage the new leaves, especially the new ones when they're coming out. They're very sensitive. And so if you have other leaves kind of rubbing against them, it can really damage them. So our final cutting from the Olympiad is down here, but I don't think this one's going to survive. So yeah, we had 3 cuttings from it, and this one, I don't think, yeah, this one's rotten. So that Olympiad is not going to survive, but the other 2 are doing okay. And we also have a cutting from our Beate here. We'll see how that one does. And then moving around here, we have our mother plants for the philodendron fiddle leaf lime. This is where we took the cutting from. That's on the side wall. This one's doing fine here, although it's coming out for some reason with this rather kind of deformed leaf on every one's coming out with this shorter on that side. Anyway, we have a new leaf coming out. We'll see how that does. I don't know if it's down to sun. Again, this area has not been getting a lot of sun lately. So there we go. That's an update on our garden. Oh, I forgot to mention the Royal Queen here. Also doing quite well. And we got a new leaf on our Cistaris mirabilis, which I was happy about because that didn't seem to be growing at all, but then suddenly that came out. And then we've got this stuff, which just self-propagated. You know, so we've got a elephant ears alocasia here. We got the Alocasia amazonias, and these just sprung up all on their own, I guess from bulbs and rhizomes underground because we had some planted over there before. So there we go. That is the latest garden update. For those of you who've been following along with our Alviera jungle garden, I hope that you have found this video interesting to see the updates. I haven't been purchasing any new species lately, so we haven't got anything kind of new to show, just the new growth. But I'm hoping to be adding some more plants to our collection in the coming 12 months. I'd like to put some more Anthuriums along here. There's a few that I've got ideas on, and I'd like to hang them on the walls here in between all these bamboos. So that's another reason why we haven't had many new plants lately. Is as you can see, the garden is already a little crowded, and I'm not really sure where I'll put more. So thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the like button if you found this video interesting, and I'll see you next time.